It's been almost a year after Spider-Man No Way Home, and Andrew Garfield has reflected on how it felt to abandon the Amazing Spider-Man 3. How did he think? To learn more, keep watching this video. Learn more about Emma Stone's reaction to it, and why he disregarded her while filming the incredible movie for a whole week. What you should know. Just before last year's MCU outing, the last time Garfield had embodied the iconic superhero was for The Amazing Spider-Man 2. As you might know, it flopped in almost every way possible. Talk about the critics, fans, and even the box office, just to name a few. While it is not great to hope that any movie fails, in the case of the film, it led to the webhead becoming part of the MCU. Little wonder the president of Marvel Studios, Kevin Feige, was quick to jump at the opportunity to convince Sony to share the character, and as everyone knows, he was successful. But this one begs the question, how does Garfield feel about what could have been? Garfield on abandoning Amazing Spider-Man 3. In an interview with Go, Andrew Garfield commented on what it felt like for Sony to abandon The Amazing Spider-Man 3 and have his journey cut short as the webhead. In his words, he admitted, and I quote, "There was an undone feeling. He said it was something he needed to fix on his own. He said, I don't know if I expected to do more. I was very open to it being whatever it was meant to be. But there was an undone feeling. Like, what was that experience about? And how do I close that circle in my living room on my own? And I was doing that." The actor also shared how being a part of Spider-Man No Way Home was, in his words, really just kind of beautiful, and that it helped that the pressure was all on Tom's shoulders. He also pointed out how leading the franchise himself was different, as he had to, I quote, carry a Spider-Man movie alone, whereas Tom Holland has all the larger machinery to back him up. His exact words were, which was a different job for all of you. Tom Holland still has to carry these films, but they are a part of the larger Marvel machinery, which means they're too big to fail on some level. You've walked in after Tobey Maguire and had to carry a Spider-Man movie alone, with no guarantee that you would get to do it again. He went further to say that leading the Amazing series was a lot to take on, and that he would be content if he could do theater for the rest of his life. What could have been? In general, after The Amazing Spider-Man 2, there wasn't all that much desire to see the series continue, as it wasn't received very highly. But after the production of No Way Home, the world seemed to have a change of heart, and there have been fan petitions to get a third Amazing film into development, and even Tom Holland himself is in support. The recent support from fans humbled Garfield himself, and he noted that he thought Spidey potentially going up against Tom Hardy's Venom was an excellent idea. Recently, it was rumored that Garfield might be reprising his role alongside Tobey Maguire for a cameo appearance in either the animated Across the Spider-Verse or the third film, Beyond the Spider-Verse. We also can't deny the plenty of whispers regarding the actor's involvement in the upcoming Avengers Secret Wars project. Hopefully his return to the red and blue tights will be sooner than the fans expect. And guess what? Across the Spider-Verse will hit the theater on June 2nd, 2023. Moving away from the Amazing movie, did you know that Andrew Garfield ignored Emma Stone for a week while filming Spider-Man 2? Why Andrew Garfield ignored Emma Stone for a whole week filming Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like many, you will agree that one thing about the Amazing Spider-Man series that has been better than any other iteration of the wall crawler is its leading couple. The chemistry between Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker and Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy is infectious and explosive. Audiences wasted no time falling in love with the duo, which hurt her tragic death even more. Recall the iconic moments towards the end of The Amazing Spider-Man 2, when Peter tries to save Gwen from falling during his struggle with Harry Osborn. Sadly, he webs her a second too late, and her neck snaps into the hard ground below, killing her instantly. The defining moment for the character made for one of the best sequences of the MCU's Spider-Man No Way Home, where Garfield's Peter ends up saving Zendaya's MJ from meeting the same fate, and in a similar manner no less. The moment, excellently played by both actors, was a tearjerker. Some new quotes from various Sony executives have provided fans with a little more detail about the atmosphere on the set the day they filmed the fateful scene. Keep watching to find out. Filming the death of Gwen Stacy, the direct received an early copy of Sean O'Connell's new book, With Great Power, highlighting Spider-Man's ever-popular role on the big screen. Within it, the Amazing Spider-Man 2 VFX supervisor, Jerome Chen, spoke about how the film's star, Andrew Garfield, went about about getting into the dark mind space necessary for the death of Emma Stone's Gwen Stacy, Chen noted that Andrew and Emma deliberately didn't see each other for a week, and he remembers Andrew coming in and just crying uncontrollably for hours on end. He said, and I quote, "I remember when they were filming that scene. Andrew and Emma deliberately didn't see each other for a week." Andrew Garfield said, "I don't want to see you. When you enter that scene, you have to pretend you're dead to me." It was very quiet. The sets were almost always very quiet. Mark Webb likes to work very focused, so it was very quiet, a closed set, and I just remember Andrew coming in and just crying uncontrollably. It was hours of that. That was grueling but powerful. While talking about the big moment back in 2014, Stone recalled that she couldn't open her eyes to see Andrew Garfield because of how heartbreaking it was. Her exact words were, "I couldn't open my eyes to see Andrew Garfield. I could feel him, but seeing his face is heartbreaking." In another past interview with Entertainment Weekly, Mark Webb, the film's director, revealed that the death of Gwen Stacy in the comics profoundly stayed with him. His words were, "It profoundly stayed with me. I was anxious and curious to explore it on the screen." He also elaborated on how if it were anything but devastating, it would undermine its truth. He said, and I quote, "Emma Stone is beloved, and that relationship is the heart of the Amazing Spider-Man movies. But that's also why we couldn't shy away from that. It has to have an impact. It has to shock you. It has to be devastating. Anything else would be undermining the truth of it." Every Spider-Man fan can purchase with great power online, but will we see Emma soon on the big screen? More Emma Stone to come? It's not surprising to learn that Garfield felt the need to ignore his co-star for a whole week. After all, the two were dating up until 2015, so they probably saw each other fairly often, especially while The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was in production. We can't deny that Garfield's process worked because his performance in those devastating moments broke the hearts of fans worldwide. It remains one of the strongest sequences in either Amazing movie. With all the multiverse shenanigans in the world of superhero blockbusters these days, one cannot help but ask, could Emma Stone return as Gwen Stacy? After all, Into the Spider-Verse showcased the perfect excuse to bring her back. All Sony needs to do is tell the story of an alternate universe's Gwen Stacy, one who becomes Spider-Woman, as seen in the hit animated movie. This version of the character can even parallel Garfield's Peter's grief, as she lost her Peter Parker in a similar circumstance. The emotional beats that would present themselves in these interactions are almost too good not to take advantage of. Also, who doesn't want to see Emma Stone become a Spider-Person? Not one fan. Before tackling Stone's return, Sony should probably figure out what Andrew Garfield's future might look like. After Spider-Man No Way Home, fans were practically begging him to return somehow, whether that be another MCU bit, The Amazing Spider-Man 3, or a face-off against Tom Hardy in Venom 3. We now know why Andrew Garfield hated leaving The Amazing Spider-Man and ignored Emma Stone for a week. While we keep our fingers crossed for what comes next in Across the Spider-Verse, which will hit theaters on June 2nd, 2023, if you haven't already, please remember to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. For now, goodbye!